Happy Sunday, everybody. Listen, you're all in for a great treat. Martha Crate is here. Oh my God, she is amazing. Just you wait. Martha Crate, Marie Ann Marangolo is singing. She's gonna kick off things and she's gonna sing a couple solos. Spiritus is here. We're gonna have a great service. Just you wait. Martha Crate. Oh my God. See you after.
And the affirmation on the front of the bulletin this week, you don't need to look at it. It's a short one, and it's a powerful one. In a spirit of thanksgiving, I thrive. That's why we continue the awareness of gratitude, of thanksgiving, of giving thanks. In the spirit of thanksgiving, I thrive. I thrive in every area of my life. So in a spirit of thanksgiving, I thrive. Let's know that together. In a spirit of thanksgiving, I thrive. Take a breath. Let it out. Let's try that one more time. In a spirit of thanksgiving, I thrive. Together. In a spirit of thanksgiving, I thrive. This is true. Amen. And so it is. I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about Martha Creek because I want you to get her for yourself. You can read about her. You can look her up online. You can go to her website. She's amazing. And I'm so glad that she's back for the first time since our summer retreat in August. Martha Creek, come on up here. Show some love with you and your family. And thank you for being here with us.
All right. I think that song summed up the teaching for the day.
Yes.
So what's going to be the answer now when some knucklehead crosses you? What are you going to do about that knucklehead? Oh, be kind. Oh. I want to give him a piece of my mind. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell him the truth. There's no one there. Have you noticed? So don't mistake monologue for dialogue. So what's after Thanksgiving? What's after giving thanks? Giving thanks, Thanksgiving. What's next?
ThanksLiving.
I heard Weight Watchers. Well, besides that, what's next?
Black Friday.
How about ThanksLiving? Living thanks. ThanksLiving. Now, this is only for masters. This notion of living thanks and ThanksLiving is not for the weak of heart, not for the ones that haven't had a trip or two around the mulberry bush yet. But it's for you. It's for me. And this message today then is for a master's message for masters. To say, okay, that then this transformation I'm talking about will require me to transform. That I cannot live as thanks. I cannot be in a spirit of ThanksLiving. I cannot be in a thriving way of being, a thriving life, and not transform myself. Even if I'm doing it 90% of the time. So even if I'm already 90% grateful, 95% grateful, 95% appreciative, the 5% or the 10% where I'm not doing it yet is where all my suffering is. That's where all the angst is. That's where what's left is. So as you think about that, and there's, we often hear it referred to as like the egoic self or the fear mind or the notions of the ego like pride. Anybody relate to pride? Seeking pride. Did you see what I did? Was it okay? Let me get my tail feathers out. Did you see me? Did you see me? Now, what happens to your spirit when it's seeking like that? What's the effect on you when it's seeking to be acknowledged, when it's seeking to be approved of, when it's seeking to be appreciated? What happens to your luminosity dial? So what would it be like to be aware of that, to be aware of the pride and the temptation of that pride and that unhealed aspect of our egoic self, of even our humanness? That's a false part, an unquestioned part, an unrealized part, whatever you want to call it, to be aware of that. And instead of that running the show, to refer to something else. Hey, there's another option for me. And I'm going to exercise that option. So then, whether it's pride or greed or gluttony or laziness or any of those, that it loses less and less and less power over me as I choose again. As I'm aware of it, lead me not into the temptation of that. Lead me not into the temptation of that mind. Deliver me from that to here, to the essence of my being, to the essence of my spirit. For there is the power. For there is the glory. For there is a new possibility for me. So I brought a quote. This is from a little book called Attitude of Gratitude. The most powerful agent of growth and transformation is something far more basic than a technique. Guess what it is? Something far more powerful than a technique. Gratitude. A transformation of the heart. A transformation of the heart. A transformation of my heart. So get a sense of that if today, this day in November of 2018, was the day you have lived your entire life for. That you thought you were coming over here for kind of a routine Sunday morning, and instead it is for a transformation morning. It is for a heart transformation. Now get a sense of what it would be like in your heart if it was transformed. If it didn't fall under the effects of this so much. If it was living in integrity with itself. Get a sense of what that would be like. What that would feel like. Close your eyes if it helps. So imagine you transformed, ThanksLiving, living in thanks, and using this power of gratitude, for transformation. How you would be in the world, how you would be with people. What your way of being would look like. Speak it out loud if you can. What would it be like? At home? Calmer? More joyful? More peaceful?
More fun?
A lot more fun. In presence. More uplifting.
More outgoing?
More outgoing. More willing.
More giving?
More generous? Yes, more giving. And understanding that the giving is for my own integrity. It's my nature to do that. That giving and receiving is one transaction. That as masters, as we walk like masters, we understand we are fed by feeding. As I give, I have received it. In the second I give it, I have received it. It's a different way of being. One more little quote. Melanie Beatty. Anybody into her? Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. I thrive. I unlock a fullness of life. Instead of seeing life like this. You might do that. Make a little fist and leave a hole and look through it. Now look around. See how appealing that is. Now when you leave, I want you to do this. Go down the street looking like this. You may get put in an institution. It's like this is how we lack perspective. I lack perspective. When I'm zoomed in, locked in on something, I go, I know how this is. I see how this is. It's like, no. It lacks the fullness. It lacks context. It lacks a broader perspective. It turns out, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. Gratitude turns what I have, what you have, into enough. So get a sense of that. What it would be like if you today, not for my sake, by the way, I'm here to shed what I can. If you, for your own sake, shedded today your not enoughness. Not enoughness. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough people. I don't have enough friends. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough space. Can you see how that dictates? How that operates? So what if today was the end of that? No more not enoughness. That I will guard that, I will not speak it. I will not create that, I will not put that forward. Starting today. As I am transformed. It turns what we have into enough. It not only turns it into enough, it expands it. Gratitude expands what I have. So then the more I'm grateful for what I have, the more I have to be grateful for. Gratitude turns denial into acceptance. Chaos into order. Confusion, bewilderment to clarity. Gratitude makes sense of a past. So regardless of what my past was, step back and look at the past some other people got. Now if I said, let's all throw our past in and mix them up, and I'll hand you out a new one, would you take the one you had, or you want to gamble there? Me either. I'll take the one I had. Gratitude is the direct route to bring peace to a situation. Peace to today. Peace to an interaction. And gratitude is what creates any tomorrow that exists. the power of gratitude today to create a tomorrow that's more interesting for me. Gratitude today that's going to create a tomorrow that I'm likely going to look more forward to, be more thriving in. And there's a word. We had Matthew Fox at a convention, the Affiliated New Thought Network convention in October out at Unity Village. And he spoke very forthright about us and us as humanists and our evolution of humanists. I encourage you to check out his writing, The Cosmic Christ. And he said, we're losing our ability to frolic. We're losing our ability for joy, for kindness, for happiness. It's also serious. So get a sense if you just frolicked a hair more than you're frolicking. Can you get a sense of that? Don't you love that word? Frolic? Frolic? It's like, hey, what are you going to do today? Frolic. Where are you going to do it? I don't know. Everywhere I am. In an airport, in a coffee shop, down the street, on the bus. I'm going to put frolic out in the world. I'm going to be a little more frolicky than I've been. Just that. Just look at what happened to your spirit. That laughter that poured through there. It's just the thoughts of just doing a little tail wagging here and there. You know, Britt referred to the dogs. Like you can just go out in the hallway to get a bag and come back in and they're like, oh! Like, I missed you. That was a minute ago, honey. What if we met people like that? Martha, are you on something? Like, yes, frolic. No prescription needed. Free, covered under all health care. Take some frolic, drink some frolic. Live some frolic, ThanksLiving. Now this next piece is from the Martha Creek newsletter of November. They're free. If you want them, you go to marthacreek.com and enroll. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm putting forth the teachings as it comes through me, how I apply them, and very practical ways and means to do that, to live this out. And in this particular newsletter, it was called Gratitude and Gratitude Practices. Practicing gratitude. Practicing expressing gratitude. Expressing living thanks. So see if some of these ideas could stir you to a new practice of this, particularly coming into this holiday season. Have you noticed some extremes of us during this time? We're either like, woo, or like, woo. So everything gets a little more intense during this time. Have you noticed? There's an energy, different energy during this time. It's been referred to for centuries, millennia, the dark time. So being the light in the world is no little calling. To be the light in the world, to be a light unto the world, to be a light unto a dark time, a dark situation. So the first one is when you're expressing gratitude, living thanks, ThanksLiving, don't be picky. Be grateful for everything. Every little thing. So think about this. One of my favorite times at Unity of Louisville, this was 15 years ago, we did a practice of gratitude for 30 days. We were writing down what we're grateful for, and this dear, dear woman named Laverne, who has since passed, that I love intensely. You know the kind that's so easy to love? Like you can't help but to love them? Her, she was so into this. So she'd run in every Sunday morning and show me her list that she had been writing every single day. And on that list were things like a mop, and a broom, and a dustpan, and a light switch, and a toothbrush, and toothpaste, cold water and pure drinking water. Doesn't have to be great big. No measure when it comes to gratitude. And it can start with things like, when Britt invited me to come up here, I said, do you know very good and well I'm not coming to New York unless I can wear flip-flops in November. So you better set it up. So, 54 degrees today, following the coldest Macy Days parade in history. So grateful feet. I'm allergic to shoes. Grateful, ThanksLiving, frolicking. Take a big deep breath for this one. Find a morsel of gratitude, even in challenges. Now this one is a master's level again. This is for the masters to walk. So I don't have to be happy that I'm terminated. Happy I've been laid off. Happy I've been divorced. Happy I've got a diagnosis. Happy I've got breast cancer. I don't have to be happy about this. I don't have to force gratitude when it's not there. But a continuing, ongoing practice that says, then step back and say, hey, the employment was terminated. But for that many years, I had employment. A well-established perspective. And for that many years, I didn't have any diagnosis. For that many years, I didn't have cancer. For that many years, I didn't have pills to take. So get a sense of, even in the tough ones, even in the boogers, what it would be like to go in there for a morsel of gratitude, to have a more well-established perspective about this situation. And then, in my humanness, I can accept help, support. I can see what's there. More grateful. ThanksLiving, even as we navigate those wins, even as we navigate those hurts, those pains. I can do so with awareness of, look at this one that supported me. Look at that one that was there. Look at this that was given to me. This who was driven me somewhere. This who called me back. This one who prayed for me. This one who sent a card. This one who's been around the mulberry bush a time or two that can hold a space with me. Look at what's here. Look at what's here. Practice mindfulness. Sound easy? So get a sense now of having this in a different relationship with you after today. That it doesn't end. And we've tried to meditate it down, medicate it down, drink it down, shop it down, snort it down, sex it down. You know, have you seen there's not enough chips in the world? Not enough chocolate in the world. So then what else can we do? How else can we be with that? Through a mindfulness practice. And just a minute, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Not take a day off a week, not an afternoon. One conscious breath. One conscious pause before I proceed. So step one, 2, presence. Pray. Step 3, proceed. Call silent unity. If you ever call silent unity, those of you watching around the world, silent unity, 1-800-NOW-PRAY. So I found myself that I'd gotten a little too far out in like a daily prayer and a practice of prayer and meditation. So I took on a practice a few years ago to call them for 30 straight days to get myself back into the saddle of that again, so to speak. Volunteer. You've been asked today to do that, to give back, to pay it forward. Now, remember what it's like when you gave something without any strings whatsoever? Remember the feeling of that? See if you can access it today. When you did something out of pure joy, out of pure frolic, that you didn't go, hey, what's it going to get me? Hey, what are they going to think of me? Hey, are they going to appreciate me? There was none of that in there. It was a clean transaction, a clean giving, where you gave out of joy, out of delight, out of a master's understanding that I'm giving to myself, and that I'm putting in motion for myself a blessing. That in my being a blessing, I'm also putting an energy of being blessed into the field. So get a sense of that, particularly going into this season of giving. Random acts of kindness. Byron Katie, many of you know that work. I've been facilitating that for years. Those of you that are interested, it's thework.com. Encourages to do 3 random acts of kindness a day and not get caught. And if anybody finds out you did one, you start over. Think that would do something for taking down some of this pride? To do it secretly? To do it in service to the one, in service to creation, in service to Creator, the essence of our being. So get a sense. If you can repeat these words for you, to you, and for you. Today's the day. Today's the day. Today's the day. My heart is transformed. My heart is transformed. I'm about ThanksLiving. I'm about ThanksLiving. I'm about ThanksLiving. I'm about ThanksLiving. So we begin again then, purposefully, knowing that every single thought we have, every single action we take, every single gift, every single act of service, every kind word, every affirmation, every note of thanks, of gratitude is a transforming effect. And that we own our part and claim our part in creating a world that we want to see. Creating ourselves in the world in a way that we want to be. We're going to look back on our life and be glad we did. And celebrate what we did.
Yes, we are. ThanksLiving, kindness, gratitude, service. We're always at choice. What divinely guided choice are you willing to make today? If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say, if this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body is moved on, what will I have to show? No, not fortune or fame, they scattered to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that I said? Have I left just a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time? Let's stay in this place and go a little deeper. Take whatever you've heard, whatever seed has been planted just for you this morning. And we drop into that deeper place, that sacred place within each of us, that is our highest place. And we do this in song, preparing to go to that space by remembering that we are so blessed. I am so blessed. Let's know it together. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. All that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed for all that God is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that God is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
God is. I am. I think this way, I pray this way, I live this way. Will you join me in speaking that? God is. I am. I think this way. I pray this way. I live this way. I know who I am. I know what I am. And I know how I serve. So allow your mind and heart open, transformed and opened in a new way, more expanded, more full. Get a sense of it in your being. Of I am blessed, I am so blessed. I'm leaning toward frolic. I'm going in the direction of frolic. I am so blessed. And imagine now any situation that arises to your mind, any relationship, any interaction, that your response to it is, I am so blessed. So some like me, some don't. I am so blessed. Some will agree, some will disagree. I am so blessed. Some will invite me, some won't. I am so blessed. Some will appreciate me, some won't notice. I am so blessed. Some will give love, Some will withhold love. I am so blessed. ThanksLiving. Living as thanks. We begin again today. Transformed, renewed in our mind, renewed in our spirit. Transformed in mind and heart. Transformed in our actions. Transformed in our speech. Transformed in our references. Empowered by choice. Empowered by focus. Intentional on where the energy goes, where the focus goes. Intentional about where the actions go. I can be kind. I can look for kindness. I can be at home. With Creator. With one conscious breath. Choose again. I can delight at the difference I've made in the world. I am the light of the world. I invite you to speak those words. I am the light of the world. I am a light unto the world. With great thanks for this day, for this transformation, for this time of renewal, this time of awakening, this time of alignment, of atonement, this precious time, this precious day for transformation and for beginning again. We give great thanks. Together, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And so it is. And so it is. Amen. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. And now